What's up, Nerdyverse? I'm Daddy Louie, and in this video, we're taking a look at a game called Arcane Ally and its upcoming expansion, Moonstruck Market. So stick around. Before we get started, if you're new to our channel and you want to see more content like this, start now by hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, so Arcane Ally is a game that has been out for a little while, and it's published by Strange Space Games. It's 2 to 6 players. It plays in about 45 minutes, and it's for ages 10 and up. And the game has been successful because they are coming up with a brand new expansion called Moonstruck Market. That expansion is going to be up on Kickstarter in the next coming weeks. And Arcane Ally is new to me, so we're going to take a look at it. But what we're actually reviewing is the Moonstruck Market, is the expansion that's coming out. But since we had never played Arcane Ally before, we obviously needed to do that. So we are going to look at it very briefly before we get into the expansion. Just wanted to let you guys know that up front. But anyway, Arcane Ally. We'll take a look at that first, and then we will get into the expansion. So if you'll join me on the table, we'll get started. Okay, so once inside the box for Arcane Ally, the original version of the game, or the core version, as we'll call it throughout the rest of this video, you have some really nice components. I have to give them a lot of credit. The tokens are wooden. There's different colors and different styles to denote different things on the scoreboard, which is this board that you see here. It's a nice thick cardboard. The cards themselves are really nice. The art is great, and the finish is nice. We even have a player one token, this cool little cat, and this is painted wood, which is very, very nice. And we also have our wizards that we're going to play with. There are 6 different wizards here. The expansion comes with 2 more, and then some reference cards, like you can see here, double-sided, and then our items and our spells and the things that we are going to try and be selling during the game. So the premise behind the game is that you are a wizard selling items on the black market, and you want to sell things as quickly as possible, but you can only sell things in sets. And you want to sell things as quickly as possible because every round there will be an inspection that is triggered, and any items that you are caught with during the inspection will count against you on the scoreboard, which you can see the scoreboard again here. So I will set up for a game, and I will show you very quickly how this plays. So as I said at the beginning of the video, this game is slated for 2 to 6 players. Right now you can only see one side of the player's table, so we'll assume I'm one of the players. Each player is dealt 9 cards. They were face down to form their market, so you can see my market here. They are also dealt 2 cards to their hand, which I have here, and I can go ahead and show you. These are secret. No one else knows these but the player. And then off to the side, there is the draw deck, and there is the discard pile. We have a bubbling cauldron over there. And before the game starts, each player would flip over 2 of their items, whichever 2 they want. They don't know what they are underneath. So I'll go ahead and flip over these 2 here. And that's how the game starts. That's how the setup is. And now each round, there's 3 rounds. We go back and forth or around the table, taking 2 actions. You either draw a card from the draw pile or take the item from the discard pile, and you put them into your hand. Then you play a card or discard a card. If you choose to play a card, if it is on a hidden card, the hidden card moves off to the side, the new card is placed down, and then the hidden card is discarded. Same thing happens if you place on top of a an existing card, you can do that. And again, you're selling stuff in sets. When I say sets, these items have to be in a row, diagonal, or in a column. So I will show you an example of how that might look. So on my turn, I will pick up this bubbling cauldron from the discard pile. And then I will place the bubbling cauldron here by removing this item, setting it off to the side, placing my bubbling cauldron down to make the start of a set here. And then I will take the item and I will discard it. Now I would pass play to my opponent's turn. Then when it comes back to me, I will then draw a card. I got this Dark Lotus here. And then I will play another bubbling cauldron from my hand, removing this and placing this here. And then discarding the item that I had flipped over. And then I can sell this as a set. So this set would net me 15 gold. You see here it's 15 gold for the set. And then I also get a set selling bonus, as indicated by this icon down here, that says choose one. Either you lose 3 infamy, which I'll explain in a moment, or a player of your choice gains 3 infamy. So I will sell these for 15 gold immediately. I'll set them off to the side. They don't go in the discard pile. And then I gain 15 gold. Each wizard starts at 25 gold. And then so I would gain 15 gold, which would put me at 40. Okay. Now how infamy works is at any time that you gain infamy, you move your little token down here. There's a couple ways that you can gain infamy, like you just saw in that card. I could give my opponent 3 infamy if I wanted to. Another way to have infamy is at the end of the round, which is triggered by all of the cards on one person's market being exposed, an inspection happens. And what happens is everybody reveals all of their cards that they didn't sell, like I'm doing here. And then you count up the infamy of those items if you can't make any sets. So I can't make any sets here. So I would count up the infamy. I have 4, 14, 16, 24. Okay? So, I'm sorry, 22. So I would gain 22 infamy. That's a lot, and I'll explain why. At any time, once you reach 24 infamy, you gain one of these tokens on your wizard. And during the inspection, if you have one of these on your wizard, you must pay it. It's a debt that you owe to the bank, if you will. And each one is worth 25 gold. So you are losing 25 gold for every token that you have here during an inspection. So I would lose 25 gold for having this, for example, which would put me at 15. If it was the end of the game, we would see who has the most gold, and that would be your winner. Now that was pretty easy for me to get that set, because I have to admit I kind of stacked it up to show you. But it's not that simple. And that's how a 3 to 6 player game goes. The rules do change slightly in a 2-player game, but I will leave that for you guys to discover on your own. But honestly, that's kind of the gist of how to play Arcane Ally. You take turns going around the table, picking up items that you want to sell, trying to make sets, and empty as much of your market by the end of the round as possible. Okay, so now that I've given you a quick rundown of how Arcane Ally plays, let's take a look at Moonstruck Market and see what exactly it is that this expansion adds. Keep in mind that this is a prototype version. Some of the coloration won't be as dark, and this printing and all of the materials will be just as high quality as what you see in the core set. Again, this is just a prototype. Alright, so once we open the box, we see inside that we have quite a few components for this expansion. Most notably to start, we have 2 brand new wizards. And I should mention that in the core set game, there is a beginner way of playing, which is what I kind of explained to you. But there's also some advanced rules, and one of those advanced rules is that each wizard is unique and it has its own powers. So adding 2 new wizards also adds 2 new powers to choose from, which I will keep a secret for now. But that's neat. And there's also some tokens to represent the new colors. Again, these will be, I imagine, just as nice as the other one. These are just some placeholders for right now. It also comes with a new, I guess, cheat sheet card, which has some stuff about the moon phases, which is a new type of way of playing in this expansion, which I'll explain in a minute. A moon phase die as well. This will be printed right now. These are just stickers. And then, of course, all of our new items that we will be selling on our market. So another thing that this expansion adds is a market. It is, after all, called Moonstruck Market. And the market is just another way for you to get the cards that you need to try and add to your sets. So as I explained earlier, you can either draw a card blindly from the deck, or you can take the top card of the discard pile, but now you can also buy from the market. So as you can see here, we have our market laid out. Let's pretend for a second that this is our discard pile over here, and here is our draw deck here. So again, on your turn, you can either take a card from here, you can take a card, the top card of the discard pile, or you can buy one of these items. You can spend your gold that you've earned on your score chart to pick the item that you want. Now, keep in mind that when you buy an item on the right side of the market, everything that's on the left side of the market will slide over into these cheaper positions. So if you're trying to keep your opponent from getting, say, this card here, you may want to, think twice about buying this card here, because essentially what you're doing is making it cheaper for him to get this card that he needs. So if I wanted to buy this this artifact right here, I could pay 2 of my gold and buy it, and then this card would slide down into the 2 gold spot, and then I would flip the next card over into the 3 gold spot. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is a nice little addition. This is made out of just paper. It will be a nice cardboard when the final copy comes out. And another thing that you'll notice while looking at these new cards from the new deck are these added symbols right here. Well, those are the moon phases, which I'll explain now. Alright, so now let's talk about the moon phases. So throughout the game, in addition to having the market and the new items and the new wizards, you are going to have moon phases. And moon phases are going to do different things or allow you to perform special types of actions, if you will, throughout the game. So at the beginning of each round, during the stock phase, when everybody gets their new stock, you will roll the die. And this will tell you which moon phase you're going to start on. So we're starting on a full moon. And then we'll stock up and everything like that. And then it will go to a player's cell. Then we will change the moon phase. And now we will go to a half moon phase. I would take my turn. It would go to the next player. They would change the moon phase. And this keeps happening basically throughout the game. The other type of way that you can change the moon phase is if on your turn you sell a moon set, which I will explain now. So let's say, for example, we are on the full moon phase, okay? It was my turn, and let's see, we were on this crescent moon phase. I turned it here at the beginning of my turn, and then I drew this talking toad. Now, normally, let's say that this is not the market. We'll just remove this for confusion. And this is the top row of my store. Normally, in order to make a set, I would need 3 of a kind, right? Well, because I'm showing the moon phase, I could also sell a moon set, which are these icons here. So I would need to have 3 full moons showing. So I could remove this emerald egg, play this talking frog, and now I have a full moon set. So if I sold this set, I would then change again the moon phase. So it happened twice in my turn, once at the beginning and then once when I sold the set. And then I could sell this set. And one of the reasons that you might want to do that, obviously, to get rid of cards that you don't necessarily want or that you're trying to sell, but also it gives you extra benefits. So let's take a look at this hexed boomerang here. So this hexed boomerang, when sold in a set, gives me 5 gold, which I would get there. And then I would get this set bonus. This set bonus says, give 1 sold hexed boomerang to another player. They must play it in their storehouse. So when I sold this, since this is the only one, my opponent would get this boomerang and they would have to play it in their store, even if they didn't want to. But because I sold it as a moon set, I also get this extra little text down here which says, and that player gains 2 infamy. So it is doubly strong, doubly, I don't think doubly is a word, but I'll look it up later. But it is doubly strong selling it as a moon set because I get both of those bonuses. So I did that, and that would remove these from my market. Then it would go to the next player, they would change the moon phase and start their turn. And those are the things that are added by Moonstruck Market. I like that it adds elements that you can play with but don't have to. I like the market a lot. This will be one solid piece of cardboard. Again, this is just a prototype. I like that it adds the market. I think that games tend to get stuck sometimes when people can't find the items that they're looking for and your opponent is hoarding onto the things that they know that you want. Now this adds in another element that allows you to get the cards that you need, while of course taking a risk by selling your gold. I also like the moon phases because it adds a little bit of a random element in the beginning, and then you don't really know which moon phase is going to be on your turn because you don't know what your opponent's going to do, which is also cool. And then the new items are great. I like that there are different ways of selling them. Again, it just adds new elements to an already great game, and the elements that it adds are really cool in my opinion. So what do I think? Well, I think Arcane Ally is a great game. I think it is a lot of fun. It's very different from any other game that I've really played before. I enjoy the art. I enjoy the theme. I'm a huge fan of like the Harry Potter card game and stuff like that. So I really feel like that genre of wizards and stuff like that is for me. Like I just really, really dig that. I do admit that I played a lot of 2-player games, and I really feel like this game shines at 3+. The rules for the 2-player version are okay. It works. It lets you play the game functionally, obviously, but I think that in order to maximize your most amount of fun with Arcane Ally, you really need to try and get that 3rd player. I haven't gotten to play with 6 people yet, but I can imagine that the more players that you have, the more cutthroat it will be and the more fun that you will have. The expansion, Moonstruck Ally, or Moonstruck Market rather, is awesome. It adds just enough new stuff to keep veterans excited about Arcane Ally, but not so much new stuff that new players will feel overwhelmed. I literally played 1 game of Arcane Ally. Actually, I played 2 games of Arcane Ally. And then busted out the expansion, and I was not overwhelmed at all, but I really enjoyed the new stuff. And I like being able to play both versions seamlessly. It was very easy to just drop one version, pick up the other. One thing that I did notice was that the backs of the cards in the expansion were a different logo and stuff back on the core version. I don't know if that's intentional, if they're going to change that, or if you have to use sleeves. If you wanted to mix and match the expansion in with the core game, you'd be able to tell what cards are coming with the newer cards. So But that's an easy fix with some OPEC sleeves, or maybe that's just a prototype. I'm not really sure, but overall, I enjoy Arcane Ally. I really, really like the expansion. I feel like it's almost like a must-buy if you're. It's definitely a must-buy if you already enjoy Arcane Ally. It's really great if you can get both of them together, because I think it will keep your experience with the game fresh and new and exciting for a long while. And I can't wait to see what they come with next for this game. Alright guys, well, if you enjoyed this video or you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot. Make sure that you share it with your family, your friends, and your nerdy communities. If you have any suggestions of anything you would like to see featured on our page, please let us know in the comment section down below. If you have any videos you would like to have put up with us on Circle of Nerds, please contact us on one of our many social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We would love to hear from you, love to collaborate with you. Also, don't forget that we have a podcast, comes out every Tuesday, called The Cosmic Disaster Show. You can find that right here on YouTube or on any platform that you enjoy listening to podcasts. And for an extra bit of love and affection, please check us out over on Patreon at patreon.com/circleofnerds. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. I will see you in the next video.